Hi, everybody, and welcome back to our remote writing workshop. Last week, we discussed the importance of showing versus telling in writing. And dialogue is just as effective, and it's a very engaging way to do this. And of course, dialogue isn't just for fiction. It's also used in memoirs and other narrative nonfiction. So, Erin, can you tell us why dialogue is so important?
Of course. Many reasons. Dialogue shows character voices, so we get to know characters very quickly by hearing them speak. Dialogue moves more quickly than paragraphs of narration, and therefore it engages the reader. It's also an important tool for subtlety, and as we discussed last week, you always want to show instead of tell, and dialogue is an incredible tool for doing this. You can share crucial details about characters' personalities without telling the reader about them. Dialogue also provides conflict, which keeps the reader interested. You always want to do that. It's also a way to tell characters apart, to show their core differences, their different voices, personalities. And dialogue is an effective way to show crucial pieces of information as well.
Awesome. Okay. So we know dialogue is engaging and adds color. What purpose should dialogue serve in your book?
Well, I think there are three main things. Dialogue should move the story forward. So it should reveal plot points or give character insights. So after each give and take of dialogue, the reader should be one step closer to the climax or conclusion. Second, dialogue should help your readers understand the relationship between characters. So you show their relationship through dialogue. Third, dialogue should reveal relevant information about the character, how they feel, what motivates them. Now, if your dialogue doesn't do all of these three things, all of them, then it's really just a waste of space on the page. So cut it or rewrite it. You want it to do all three things to be effective.
Awesome. Okay. What should a writer remember about writing effective dialogue? What are some tips?
Well, I have a lot of them. I always like to tell my authors, okay, you know what you want your characters to say. Now go back and work on how they say it. So first of all, you want your dialogue to give each character a unique voice. And there's no better way to build character personalities than through dialogue. So you want to show via dialogue who is sassy, sarcastic, southern, a teenager who speaks in slang, who's shy, who's boring, self-deprecating, fussy, a jerk. You can show these characteristics through dialogue alone. So don't tell the reader someone's personality traits. You want to show them. So for example, if a character is a man of few words, let him speak in one-word answers punctuated by a grunt here or there. Don't tell the reader he was a man of few words. Show this instead through dialogue. Much more effective. And always think about what a person's voice and speech can tell us about their background, culture, age, personality. You can show all of these aspects through dialogue alone, and you never have to tell the reader any of these things. Next, you should try to include some conflict to add excitement and energy to a scene. Disagreement in dialogue is fantastic. It reveals so much about your characters' relationships and personalities. You can also control things through dialogue that add suspense. For instance, if one character has the upper hand in a scene, one character is seething under the surface, or you can end dialogue with unresolved conflict, which is going to make the reader, of course, want to keep turning the pages. It's also very important to keep your dialogue concise and natural sounding. Making it sound natural is so key. Very few people speak in formal, fancy schmancy sentences. So instead of writing, "Would you like to go with me somewhere to have lunch?" it would be, "Hey, want to go grab some lunch?" So to that end, read your dialogue aloud to make sure it sounds natural. This is one of the best tips I can give because the ear doesn't lie, so test it out. And if you're reading it out loud and it sounds odd or stilted or formal to you, it's going to sound very odd to the reader as well. Another way to make dialogue sound natural is to make use of silences and hesitations. So have a character's dialogue trail off. You use ellipses to show this. Don't write, "He trailed off." Have them hesitate as they speak, again with ellipses. And what could these moments show about how a character is feeling? You also want to keep dialogue tags minimal. So stick to he said, she said, or he asked and she asked. Adverbs, adjectives, and other verbs are not effective. You never want to write "she surmised," "she queried," when "she said" would do instead, like keep it simple. And this keeps the reader focused on the dialogue. In that same vein, don't write things such as he asked curiously or he joked. Let the actual question in the dialogue itself show curiosity, or let the dialogue be a joke in itself. Those are my tips.
Awesome. Okay, so what should writers avoid in dialogue?
Well, I see these all the time. So if this happens to you, don't feel bad, because authors do it incredibly often. So one thing you definitely want to avoid: information dumps. And so what this is characters don't share information that they already know. So for example, I wouldn't say to you, Kesley, as you know, we both have jobs at Greenleaf and live in Austin, Texas, and we're in publishing and No Good Barbecue. We both know we're in publishing. We know where we work. We know where we live. So this is not a realistic exchange. It's clearly only a dump of information that's solely for the reader's benefit. And the reader knows this. It comes off as very amateurish. So you need to find different ways to get this information across. Another thing you want to do is avoid long speeches. In real life, people don't stand there and give monologues. They get interrupted because no one wants to listen to someone drone on and on. On that note, I'll try and keep this short. Don't write dialogue that exists in a vacuum. That means don't forget to include actions and gestures. Just like in real life, people do things while they're speaking. So include hand and body movements, facial expressions, visual responses, and reactions to other characters' lines of dialogue. So what do your characters do while talking? Are they washing dishes? Are they pulling at a thread? Are they looking at their feet? Are they petting a cat? All of these things punctuate dialogue, and they make the scene much richer and more natural. And another one, don't have all of your characters sound the same. So just like everyone in your own life sounds different, so should each of your characters. So if you succeed at establishing colorful and consistent character voices, ideally a reader should always know who's speaking, even without your speaker tags, such as Jim said. And I guess lastly, don't go in the other direction and make dialogue too clever, because if you write every single line as a zinger, it's not realistic either. And then your character just kind of becomes annoying. Now, of course, I could go on, but no one wants to listen to my monologue, so I'll end it here.
Well, those were great tips. So what about this week's assignment?
Okay, this is a fun one. So take a character's personality trait, whether it's one you're writing about, or take a character in your life and choose a personality trait and an aspect of their background, and reveal those things solely through dialogue. So don't cheat and have the person say, "Hi, I'm a real jerk and I'm from New Orleans." That doesn't count. Get creative and show these things only through dialogue. See if you can do it.
Awesome. That's a really fun exercise. Okay, awesome job, Erin. All these were really great tips. And so everybody, as usual, make sure that you're engaging with us on social media, telling us how you like these videos, what you'd like to see next, how you're liking your creative exercises. Make sure to tag us. A lot of you have been doing that, and we love to see it. So make sure you're tuning in for our next video, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.